I got back into therapy. I couldn't be with my therapist all year last year because I ended up spending the entire year outside of the United States. Video is gonna get taken out of context, and I know that at this point I can't really stop people from doing that because that's what my whole existence on the internet is just me being taken out of context and stuff.
Someone must have had this conversation and then they purposely left her out.
Change happening in my life at that time, and I really needed some mental, emotional, spiritual guidance.
Hollywood insiders aren't whispering anymore. They're flat out saying it. Rachel Zegler is on her own.
The second I land in Los Angeles, I am flooded with a flurry of different emotions, and I can't figure out what's real and what's not.
The recent Oscar fiasco surrounding Zegler has raised eyebrows. Why were all the Disney princesses, including those from upcoming films, invited to present, yet Zegler, who is set to portray Snow White, was notably absent? It seems there was a deliberate decision made to exclude her, despite her being the only one among the group with a hit movie this year.
Not to add fuel to the Rachel Zegler Oscar fiasco, but why did they have these women, all Disney princesses, all stated as Disney princesses, come out to present, but not include Rachel Zegler, who's going to be Snow White? They're clearly acknowledging Disney princesses from movies that have not been released yet. Someone must have had this conversation and then they purposely left her out, even though she was the only one with a hit movie this year of the four. Did anyone else notice this, or am I overthinking?
Did anyone else notice this? Or am I overthinking it? According to multiple industry sources, Zegler's team is in complete disarray. One public relations representative described her situation as unworkable, while another insider claimed her camp is fractured, with some publicists and agents now hesitant to pitch her for campaigns or events.
And as I was landing in Los Angeles, I realized what a dark headspace I had been in and how LA was making me feel like I was still there, because LA is a really hard place to be, especially if you're a New Yorker. I think the adjustment is so much different.
The reason? She has become a reputation risk, one that no one wants to manage anymore. The most troubling aspect is that Zegler appears oblivious to the situation. As I landed in Los Angeles, I realized how dark my headspace had been and how the city was amplifying those feelings. Adjusting to life in LA is particularly challenging for someone from New York, where the pace and culture are vastly different.
I'm a very talented, capable individual. I'm here for a reason. I can do it.
A source close to a Hollywood management firm revealed that there is a growing sense that Zegler believes she can power through this turmoil, but the calls for new projects are dwindling. The people around her are exhausted from trying to spin straw into gold. This isn't just a temporary PR hiccup, it's a slow collapse. If reports are accurate, Zegler's team isn't regrouping. They are bailing out, some quietly, some suddenly.
Disney, in a desperate attempt to make this film less of a financial disaster, actually managed to double humiliate it again.
The message is clear. She is becoming too difficult to manage in an industry that thrives on image. Support systems are crucial, and when they break down, the fall can happen swiftly. Currently, Zegler may still have contracts, roles, and name recognition, but according to those who truly understand how Hollywood operates, the infrastructure supporting her is crumbling, leaving her standing in the wreckage alone. Despite her talent and capabilities, the numbers are in, and they are worse than anyone anticipated.
Disney issued a re-release of the Rachel Zegler Snow White debacle for Mother's Day and started a big advertising campaign about take your mom to watch Snow White on Mother's Day, it's gonna be good, blah, 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 blah. Do you know how much money they made? $50.
Disney's re-release of the original Snow White barely made a dent at the box office, and insiders are reportedly placing part of the blame squarely on Zegler, the current face of the franchise. To clarify, Zegler had no involvement in the 1937 animation, but her highly controversial statements about the remake, her jabs at the original story, and her comments about the prince have made her the unexpected face of its failure. The re-release didn't just underperform, it flopped spectacularly, a humiliating turn for a legacy property that Disney once considered untouchable.
The Snow White re-release film averaged $50 per movie theater, which is less than 4 tickets.
Industry observers are now calling it a brand drag. In a desperate attempt to salvage the film's financial prospects, Disney inadvertently managed to double the humiliation. According to box office analysts, the backlash surrounding Zegler's version of Snow White created so much noise that even the original film couldn't escape the fallout.
Josh and I have been operating and living together, and not to sound codependent, but I miss him. You know what, actually, I resent that. I resent the fact that I felt the need to say that.
Audiences stayed away, longtime fans refused to support it, and social media was flooded with references to Zegler's interviews, many of which continue to be clipped and mocked. Disney's response? Silence. There was no pushback, no effort to redirect the conversation, and no public defense of Zegler. If anything, the studio's reaction felt deliberate. Let it crash, move on, and quietly sever the association.
Disney has done the impossible and made Snow White an even bigger bomb.
This situation isn't merely a re-release gone awry. It serves as a referendum, a signal to the industry that Rachel Zegler lacks the draw or goodwill to anchor a billion-dollar brand. Now, the question isn't just whether she is in trouble, it's whether she has already been written off. When Disney allows a legacy title to go up in flames to avoid defending their lead actress, it's not corporate confusion. It's a cold, calculated step back. Disney's re-release of the Zegler-led Snow White for Mother's Day was accompanied by a big advertising campaign, encouraging audiences to take their mums to see the film.
Whenever I talk about, I've been away from Josh for 4 days now, and I miss him. Obviously, he's the best.
The result? A mere $50 in box office revenue. Behind the scenes, the tension is reportedly unbearable. Publicists, managers, and studio liaisons are scrambling to figure out how to clean up a mess they didn't see coming, and many no longer want to be associated with her. Multiple insiders claim that Zegler's team is fractured, with some advocating for an aggressive rebranding, while others have allegedly checked out completely. One source from a prominent PR firm described the situation bluntly. It's dysfunction. No one's on the same page. Her messaging is all over the place, and honestly, no one wants to be the one to deliver bad news to her anymore.
Please don't feel bad for missing your partner after a couple days of being away from them. Don't let anybody make you feel like that's a negative thing. It's not. It's totally normal. You should like your partner. You should like your alone time, and I do.
Another insider speculated that Zegler's team is divided between those who still believe in her comeback potential and those who are simply waiting out their contracts. What is clear is that there is no unified strategy. Her tone in interviews doesn't match her online presence. Her social silence doesn't align with her on-camera confidence. And every time her team attempts to pivot, a new clip surfaces, a past quote resurfaces, or another awkward red carpet moment trends again.
But after Rachel Zegler got lambasted for being the reason the film flopped, and she is the reason the film flopped, now I don't think that there was a ton of appetite for the film in general, but I think it had a fair shot at least breaking even.
It's a game of whack-a-mole with her public reputation, and the exhaustion is palpable. This situation transcends a mere branding issue. It reflects a leadership collapse. Without clear direction or public support, Zegler's chaotic team dynamics may not just be temporary, they could be permanent. Even in an industry known for difficult talent, Rachel Zegler is reportedly becoming a harder sell, not just to the public, but to the very people who once championed her. From PR handlers to casting directors, the narrative forming behind closed doors is chilling. She is no longer worth the risk. Why? Because the more she speaks, the harder it becomes to defend her. Whether it's her now infamous comments about Snow White being outdated, her snide remarks about co-stars, or her tendency to double down when public sentiment turns against her, Zegler's interviews have become liabilities. What once came off as confidence now reads as combative. What once felt fresh now feels arrogant. According to Hollywood insiders, this is creating a very real problem for those tasked with protecting her image. One representative allegedly told an industry source, Every time we think she's learned from the backlash, she does it again. She pushes the same tone, and it backfires every time. The irony is that for someone who once positioned herself as outspoken, bold, and unafraid, Rachel Zegler has never felt more filtered or more isolated. In an industry known for sudden shifts and backroom recasts, the newest rumor surrounding Zegler isn't being shouted. It's being whispered. Is she already being replaced? Even casting agents have noted that certain roles she was once in serious talks for are now back in the pool. In Hollywood, that's all it takes. You're in until you're not. Right now, Zegler's name doesn't seem to carry the weight it once did. Fans have started speculating on platforms like Reddit and TikTok, theorizing that Snow White may never even reach its original release date, that the film could be delayed indefinitely, retooled, or even quietly dropped altogether. Others believe her character may be minimized in favor of other storylines. Again, nothing is confirmed, but the energy has shifted. When studios start thinking about damage control before your movie even premieres, you're no longer the future of the franchise. In moments of celebrity controversy, you can usually count on at least one person to speak up. A co-star, a director, a friend. Someone willing to say, she's not what they say she is. But after Rachel Zegler faced backlash for being the reason the film flopped, there has been nothing. No Instagram notes from fellow actors, no show of solidarity from past collaborators, no give her grace tweets from peers, not even a subtle like. In a digital age where even silence becomes a message, this silence is beginning to scream. The headlines are one thing. The fan backlash, the studio silence, the disappearing team. Those are symptoms. But underneath it all, the real question everyone in Hollywood is now asking is, has Rachel Zegler burned every bridge before she even finished crossing them? She was supposed to be the next big thing, a Disney princess, a Spielberg discovery, a Gen Z firebrand. But now she's a case study in how quickly it can all fall apart. Her PR team is reportedly fractured, her co-stars are silent, Disney seems ready to cut its losses, and the media machine that once celebrated her with breathless headlines now won't even defend her in a footnote. There's still time for a course correction, perhaps, but that would require something Zegler hasn't yet demonstrated: humility, the kind that doesn't come with a filter, the kind that isn't test-marketed through a crisis PR plan, the kind that genuinely earns back trust. Because right now, she's not just losing roles, she's losing relevance. In an industry that moves at the speed of silence, that's a fall from which few recover. So, what do you think? Has Zegler pushed her luck too far? Is this merely a PR nightmare, or is it the beginning of a full career collapse? Drop your thoughts below, hit like and subscribe, and stay tuned, because the next star to fall might already be trending. And trust me, you won't believe who's next.